Welcome to Lunch with Legacy Leaders, a weekly talk show with local and national thought leaders on issues impacting the Black community. Now introducing our host, Miss Ann Marie Sorrell.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Lunch with Legacy Leaders. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Before we get started, I am your host, Ann Marie Sorrell, President and CEO of the Mosaic Group. I want to thank our sponsors for today's broadcast. It's made possible through Broward Health, the Florida Lottery, and Florida for All. Today we have a very special guest. I would like to welcome our guest, Mr. Michael Finney. He is the President and CEO of Miami Dade Beacon Council. How are you, Mr. Finney?
Doing great, Ann Marie, and thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for being here. I know these are some challenging times. We're all having to adjust to our work from home situations. How are you adjusting?
I'm doing fairly well. I find myself into the office occasionally. I mean, the good news is our office is empty. All of our staff is working remotely. And so going into the office, we've got everything set up for the eventual return. We've got the floor all outlined for social distancing and everything else. So I get into the office occasionally just to break up the monotony of being at home. And I think I'm getting on my wife's nerves a little bit. But other than that, it's all good.
I can totally understand. We all need to break up our day a little bit. I find that we work actually more hours in front of our computers working remotely because we don't have that chance to run, back and forth to meetings.
Yeah, it's pretty productive for me. I actually find that I don't have time during the day to respond to emails and some of the phone calls that come in because I'm back to back with either some type of electronic meetings like this one or Zoom or something else. But for the most part, it's a productive situation for us, and we're finding ways to really connect with the businesses and individuals in the community that we need to.
Absolutely. Well, for those who don't know you, I'm going to go ahead and just review your bio and introduce you properly to our audience. Mr. Michael Finney is the presidency of the Miami Dade Beacon Center. The Miami Dade Beacon Center serves as the official economic development organization for Miami-Dade County. The not-for-profit public-private organization focuses on job creation and economic growth. Since 1985, the organization has assisted more than 980 businesses that have created more than 65,000 direct jobs and added more than $4 billion in new capital investments. It accomplishes this by marketing Miami-Dade as a world-class business location, growing local companies, and shaping the local economy's future. The Market Grow Shape Strategy and One Community, One Goal initiative are the pillars for economic growth and prosperity for all in Miami-Dade County. As president and CEO, Mr. Finney champions the county's efforts to market Miami-Dade as a world-class business destination, grow local companies, and help shape the county's economic future. He collaborates with stakeholders, including Miami-Dade County, CareerSource, and the Miami-Dade Council of Chambers, and private sector leaders throughout the community to attract and retain businesses and the workforce needed to expand a growing and dynamic economy. He has received numerous awards and recognitions, including the 2014 Michigan Venture Capital Association Lifetime Achievement Award. We have to talk a little bit more about that. What does that mean? And has also been named one of the most powerful people in Michigan. So, of course, you're from Michigan for our viewers who don't know. And you hold a Master's of Arts in Human Resources from Central Michigan University and a Bachelor of Business Administration from, I hope I said this right, Saginaw, I'm sorry, Valley State University. So welcome again, Mr. Finney.
Thank you so much, Ann Marie.
Now, you're originally from Michigan?
I am. In fact, spent most of my life in Michigan. I was in upstate New York and Rochester for a number of years doing economic development work. But the vast majority of my life I've spent in Michigan.
Okay, awesome. So I said a little bit about the Miami-Dade Beacon Council, but for our audiences that may not be in the world of economic development and what that actually means, can you, just kind of dive in a little bit more about what it is that the Miami-Dade Beacon Council actually does?
Sure. Yeah, so in my bio, you mentioned that we are the official economic development partner for all of Miami-Dade County. And so we work in partnership with our county, our municipalities, and all the various businesses that we have here to try and ensure that, if there are opportunities for companies to grow, that those growth opportunities are happening here in Miami-Dade. Our approach is one of looking at marketing the community. And so a lot of our time, effort, and resources is focused on telling Miami-Dade's story, and we tell it locally, we tell it regionally, we tell it nationally, and we tell it internationally, because the businesses that we work with, existing companies that are here or entrepreneurs that are here, we want to make sure that we are providing support to them as they go about growing their companies. But on a regional, national, and international basis, there are many companies that find Miami to be an attractive location for them to set up. And in many cases, access to customers come via Miami, especially for businesses that are trying to work in the Caribbean or in Latin America. This truly is a gateway into everything Caribbean and Latin America. And so those types of companies would find Miami-Dade County to be an interesting location. And so we're trying to make sure that we're telling that story through our marketing activities and our outreach. The second thing is with existing companies. A lot of them are in a mode to grow. And in fact, more than half the clients we work with on an annual basis are existing companies that have decided that they have an opportunity to expand their operations and they need support. And so we will then engage with them to try and identify ways that we can help accelerate their expansion. It might be helping with communicating with the governmental entities. It might be around permitting or something else required. It might be around helping with talent. It could be helping with any kind of tax incentives or other resources that can be available. So we play a role of really being a resource to the businesses as they try and interface with the various organizations, be it government or otherwise, that assist with their business growth and expansion. And then lastly, we're trying to influence the long-term direction of this community in terms of what are the next big things from a business growth and technology development that's happening. In fact, today we just launched a new website that we think is going to be tremendous in helping our people upgrade their skills or reskill, because we've had a lot of folks who've lost employment or having to pivot to new types of employment. So we've got a resource that's allowing those individuals to gain access to new career opportunities and to look at reskilling and upskilling opportunities, but also those who are in the tech world can go after serious tech opportunities. The website is miamitech.works. It just launched today in partnership with a lot of tech-based organizations through our tech committee. And so those are the kind of things that we try and do to influence the long-term direction of the community. So we call our strategy simply market, grow, shape. Marketing the region, helping grow existing companies, and helping to set the direction for the future of business growth in Miami-Dade County.
Okay, and I just want to reemphasize that website, Miami Tech Grow.
Yeah, miamitech.works.
miamitech.works. Okay,
Yeah.
W-O-R-K-S. miamitech.works. Okay, well, I'm definitely going to be checking the website out after the show. So when you talk about growing businesses, attracting businesses, retaining them, can you tell us a little bit, like, what's the profile of that business? How large are these businesses? Is there a certain criteria that you look for, or are you members of a certain criteria as far as the size, the scale, and, industry of businesses?
Yeah. So the average business that we work with will be in the range of 25 jobs and higher. So relatively small, but and we're not successful with every single one. So that's part of the process. You typically have to find as many opportunities as possible in order to have success. So relatively small businesses, but also we've worked with very large businesses. The Amazon distribution center out in Opelika, the one that was just announced for Homestead, are two of the larger projects that we worked with that involve hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs. So it varies, and it's everything in between. The industry sectors include aerospace, trade and logistics, of course, hospitality and tourism, technology, creative design, and a few others. So we've identified about a half a dozen industry sectors that really make a lot of sense for Miami-Dade, and we focus on those and trying to help those grow as fast as possible. We also try and look at jobs that are high value, knowledge intensive, or higher wage jobs, because we want to try and continue to improve the average wages that are paid here in Miami-Dade County, because that's how we become economically stronger. So we look at not just the type of company, but also, is it a high wage industry that's allowing our people to get access to better paying jobs?
Absolutely. So is Miami-Dade, of course, other than tourism, nationally, world-class tourism, right? Is there something else that Miami-Dade is known for? Is there a direction for that to happen? I know at some point there was talks about, which I see with the Miami Tech Works, there were talks about creating Miami as like a tech destination, kind of like Silicon Valley. Is there a particular industry that you guys are working to kind of create as an additional hub, so to speak, for Miami-Dade County?
Yeah, one of the areas that gets overlooked all the time. So certainly we are known for hospitality and tourism, and that's a real strength of this region and of the state of Florida. But we also have tremendous strength when it comes to healthcare and life sciences, right? We have one of the best medical infrastructures, and that includes private companies as well that supply goods and services, devices, in addition to the wonderful healthcare and all the innovation that comes from that. We also have, I think, a world-class operation when it comes to trade and logistics. The Port of Miami and MIA both transport literally, multiple billions of dollars of goods and services on an annual basis. And that industry drives the vast majority of employment that's happening in Miami-Dade. And it's really high value employment that pays the higher wages. And so there are some other sectors. Aerospace also very important. We have great representation from all the major airline and supplier operations. Boeing has one of the largest training facilities in the United States and perhaps in the world, just north of the airport, where they train pilots and technicians and so on. And then we have a lot of maintenance repair type facilities that are also located here in aerospace. So beyond hospitality and tourism, there are many other great opportunities. And the area that's growing fastest right now is actually technology, right? You mentioned it. Are we going to become a Silicon Valley? Well, Silicon Valley is Silicon Valley, but do we have the potential to be a wonderful location for significant tech growth? And the answer is yes, and it's happening. It's happening with companies like Kaseya, and I'm guessing the majority of the residents in Miami-Dade County have never heard of Kaseya. But this is a real cool company that relocated here from Boston. They've got 250, 300 employees, all high wage jobs. They are tech workers, but not exclusively. And they are, in fact, one of the fastest growing companies that we have here in Miami-Dade County, and one of the fastest in the United States. And those are the kinds of companies that are showing up and setting the stage for us to become that next tech hotspot. So we've got a number of sectors that are doing well, and we're pretty excited about where we are. And we were extremely excited before this whole COVID-19 crisis hit us. I trust that once we get beyond it and we have a vaccine or effective therapies, that we'll be able to continue growing.
Absolutely. And that leads me to, and we did have a viewer to ask, what was the name of that company again that you just mentioned?
It's Kaseya, Kayasa.
Thank you. So that leads me into another part of our discussion, because I think it's important for our community, the Black community, Black businesses, to understand the areas of businesses and industries, not business, but the industries that are growth industries. So that way, when we're looking at growing our companies, we can look and see where we should be tapping into, where we should focus, or where we should even pivot, especially in a time like this. So why is the Miami Beacon Council and other economic development agencies such as yourself important to the Black business community and the Black community at large?
Well, so we represent one of the best knowledge repositories you're going to find for information about businesses that are growing, right? Because that's what we're doing. That's our everyday job, is to identify businesses that are in a growth mode and try and get them to grow here in Miami-Dade County. So if you're a business that's trying to figure out how to grow and you need access to new customer opportunities, that might be a place where some of our information could be helpful to you. As a minimum, if you're trying to get access to some large established anchor institution, chances are we have a relationship where we can help open the door. And that's a fairly common request that we get from businesses. Hey, I'm trying to get access to Miami-Dade County's small business division because they have a lot of contracting opportunities available. We'd be more than happy to make that introduction to Gary Hartfield and the team at Miami-Dade County to help open that door. Or someone trying to get access to American Airlines because they have a product that could be sold to the airline. We'd be more than happy to reach out to our contact at American Airlines, and so on and so forth. We do that, and we try and do it in a managed way because we can't take on thousands of those kind of opportunities at once. But for those who truly have products that would be attractive to various other companies that they've scoped out, and they just simply don't have access to the leadership, that's a role that we can play to help open doors, and we do it on a fairly routine basis. The other thing is, I mentioned some of the industry sectors that are growing. And so if I were starting a business, obviously it has to do with your own skill sets, experience, and know-how. But if you have the ability to play in the trade and logistics space, the healthcare, biosciences, and healthcare innovation space, if you are even in hospitality and tourism, I mean, there are just so many opportunities there where organizations like the Beacon Council, the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Miami-Dade Chamber, and some of the other chambers, organizations like us can be real resources. And I would just encourage your listeners to reach out to us and to respond to our various information. Get on our email distribution, our newsletter list, so that you can get updates on all the interesting things that are happening around the community where perhaps we could be a resource to help you grow.
Absolutely. And I just want to add to that because I think it's important for business owners in our community to understand that this access is also an investment, if I'm correct. There's a membership component that you guys have. Is that correct?
No, so that's one of the, I think, the tricky questions that we get a lot. So our services, Ann Marie, is available to any business in Miami-Dade County at no cost to those businesses. Okay. We do not have a required membership, and that's one of the confusion points, right? We will provide the exact same scope and level of support for a business that does not make an investment in our organization to become a member as we would for one who is a member. And that's because we are an asset and a resource to all of Miami-Dade County, and we do not draw a distinction. Certainly, we need to fund our operations, so don't get me wrong. And a lot of our support comes from businesses that we've helped historically, where they see the value in what we do and the impact that it can have in our community as a whole. So we do have about 200 or so businesses that support the organization. But the reality is we help far more than that on an annual basis. Our outreach right now to small businesses as a result of COVID-19 and this crisis, we've literally touched thousands of businesses. And we're partnering with probably 30 to 40 other organizations to help us extend our reach even further. I've referenced a couple of them, but there are many more organizations that we're partnering with as a way of trying to reach as many of our small and disadvantaged businesses as possible so they can take advantage of some of these resources that are available.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so happy you said that because there is the perception that you do have to be a member of not just your organization, but some of your counterparts in the region in order to be able to have access to some of the resources and companies and contacts that you're talking about. So I'm so glad that you were able to clear that up for our audience.
No, we do not charge fees. And to be frank, if we're successful in helping you, hopefully you'll pay it forward. Help somebody else. Certainly you can become a member of our organization, but it's not a condition of our help.
Absolutely. That is great to know. And that's why we have this this conversation with leaders like yourself, Mr. Finney, so that way we can help just kind of get a better understanding of what it is that you do and what resources you do provide to our community. So how engaged is the Black community in the efforts of the Beacon Council?
Yeah, so the straight answer is probably we'd love to see a greater degree of engagement, especially from businesses that need help. And that help could be on a number of different fronts. We most often hear about access to capital as the biggest need, or money that businesses need. But we do have a group of Black business leaders that have been working hand in glove with us for the last 3+ years. We call it our Urban Initiatives Task Force. And it involves folks like Terry Williams, the president and CEO of One United Bank, Bill Diggs, Eric Knowles, Baron Channer, Newton Santon, and a whole bunch of others, Kevin Michaels. So we've got a really good group of about 20+ business and community leaders that really serve as a voice for us to help us set the direction for what we should be doing to most effectively help the Black community. Is it enough? The answer is it's definitely not enough. What we need is more access to those trusted advisors in the Black business community. So the 20 or so who partner with us on the Urban Initiative Task Force are really good. So don't misunderstand me. But we know there are many other trusted advisors within the Black business community that we need to be connected to. Because when they say that Beacon Council is the right organization for you to work with, and you can go and talk to Mike Finney and his team, and you're not going to be charged fees, and the advice that you're going to get is going to be high quality advice. And if there's a funding opportunity, they'll help you gain access to that funding opportunity. Those trusted advisors, when they say that, it means an awful lot, and companies usually respond. When we're saying it, sometimes we get a response, sometimes we don't. We've done broad communications, emails, and outreach to virtually every business that's registered in Miami-Dade County. And we get about a 5% response rate. That's pretty low.
That is.
But when we involve trusted advisors, that response rate goes up much higher, because those trusted advisors are saying, this is an organization that can actually help you. They can help you with funding. They can help you with customers. They can help you solve all the marketing challenges that you have, et cetera. And those are the kinds of things that we're prepared to do. And a lot of it, by the way, is not done by us. It's done with partnering organizations like the SBDC at FIU, Prospera, Chemical, the Miami Bayside Foundation, Opelika CDC, and I can go on and on in terms of all these different organizations that are in the community to help. And what we do is we try and extend their capability and ours by partnering together. And so we need greater access for sure, and we're prepared to try, especially given the circumstances that we are surrounded by right now with COVID-19 and all the equity challenges that's going on for Black businesses.
Absolutely. And that brings me to our next question. What are your thoughts about government and corporate responsibility to Black businesses in our community? And when you're recruiting new businesses to expand to Miami-Dade County, for example, is there, does the conversation of inclusion in their supply chain come up as it relates to Black and minority-owned businesses?
Yeah, so the idea of how do we recruit is probably the best approach. So when we're recruiting companies, we generally don't try and focus too much on their supply chains, other than to understand what the appeal is for Miami-Dade County. Sometimes, sure, there are supply chain opportunities that make it attractive for them, but once they're here, then we think it's important for us to do a lot to try and get them engaged in the business community in total. Over the years the Beacon Council has been around, we've not really engaged a lot in trying to explore to what extent they have relationships with Black and disadvantaged businesses. That's something that we're now getting engaged with. In fact, there's an effort underway on a countywide basis known as the South Florida Anchor Alliance. And while we're not leading it, we're partnering with the South Florida, with the Health Foundation of South Florida, among about 15 or so other organizations. We think that is one of the best ways of introducing Black and disadvantaged businesses to the major anchor institutions that we have here, so that they can start to build a more robust customer base. And on the part of those anchor institutions, they're all saying that they're interested in being a part of this kind of effort. So we think the stage is set for a greater level of responsiveness and opportunity. And what we're trying to do is reprioritize some of our resources so we can help those companies as they start to take on new opportunities. Now, I did a lot of this work when I was in Michigan. And the most frequent challenge that companies ran into was either they didn't have the people that they needed in order to expand their operations. They didn't have enough space, so they needed to either expand their existing facility or find another one. And most importantly, to do both those other things, they needed money to hire the people, to buy inventory, to expand their operations. And so we found ourselves in need of actually helping to solve those problems in order for these companies to actually take on more business. For example, if there were a $1 billion opportunity today for goods and services to be sold by businesses, the biggest question that I would have is, do we have the capacity in the community right now to respond to that $1 billion opportunity? I don't know, but my guess to find the capital they need in order to secure whatever resources they need in order to be successful. And those are the kinds of things that we know we need to commit to as an organization to commit to work on.
Okay, awesome. Can you hear me okay? I don't know if my computer
you're fine.
Is my internet fine? Okay. Okay. No, that's good. And I'm happy to see that the conversation is happening and that you're starting to be a part of a larger initiative, because I do think for many years, and I've been involved, I live in West Palm Beach, so I've been involved with our BDB for years, but I know that generally speaking with economic development organization, it has not been a part of the main conversation as far as inclusion in the supply chain once companies are relocated to the greater South Florida area. So I'm happy that is definitely, that there's some strides and efforts being made towards that. And I'd love to learn more about that effort as well.
Well, and in all honesty, it's not a robust effort yet, but it is designed right. I mean, the structure is there, and we're seeing the interest and the intent. And so now it's important for us as a business community to ensure that our companies are really trying to take advantage of it as effectively as they can.
Absolutely. Well, we got to stay on top of it.
Right.
And stay involved, of course. So it's National Black Business Month. Are there any programs and initiatives that the Beacon Council have in place to celebrate National Black Business Month and beyond?
No, we don't have any programs in place that are designed to celebrate National Black Business Month, but we are doing some things that we think can have a big impact with Black businesses here in Miami-Dade. The first thing that I would encourage everybody to do that's looking for any kind of help with your business is to send us an email, and you can just say, I heard about this on Legacy's show with Ann Marie Sorrell, or I heard about it from Mike Finney, but send an email to bizassistance@beaconcouncil.com, B-I-Z assistance at beaconcouncil.com, saying, I need help. And what you're going to get from us is you're going to get an immediate follow-up, and we're going to get you connected, and we're going to ask you to tell us what kind of support you need. Do you need help with capital? Do you need help with organizing your business records? Do you need help with recruiting talent? Or any number of other things. We've got a long list that we've developed. And then on the basis of what your response is, then we will arrange for either someone from our team or from one of our partnering organizations, like some of those I've referenced earlier, will be in touch with you to try and see what we can do to help you grow your business based on the needs that you've identified. That's something that we're doing right now, and it's available to all of your listeners. We want you to get engaged and reach out to us and let us be a resource to help you. I can't tell you how many companies we talked to that tried to get access to the CARES Act PPP loan program that couldn't get it. There's the layoff aversion program that CareerSource launched. There's 4 organizations, including us, that is attempting to award $2 million to businesses here in Miami-Dade County. And we're struggling to get enough companies through the pipeline in order to get the money. And what we're finding is that they need support in organizing their business and securing their records and other things so that they can get access to the dollars. So we're here through biz assistance at beaconcouncil.com to help. So I would encourage your listeners to do that now. That's one of the ways that we can help the Black business community today. And while it wasn't designed in response to this month, it is a resource that's available right now during this month, and it'll continue to be available so that your listeners can be successful.
Absolutely. And we're taking the conversation. What National Black Business Month does for us is to ignite conversation, ignite solutions that can take us beyond, and that we're working on it 365 days a year. So thank you for that. So everyone, biz assistance at beaconcouncil.com, biz assistance at beaconcouncil.com. So a couple more quick questions for you. How important is it to have a regional approach to economic development for the South Florida area or the South Florida market?
Yeah, so I think it's critically important. So if I think about region, first of all, Beacon Council serves Miami-Dade County as opposed to a single city within Miami-Dade County. So we're regional by nature. But when we think about the broader region of South Florida, which picks up Broward, Palm Beach, and perhaps Monroe County, we think that it makes a lot of sense because there is strength in numbers. If we talk about Miami-Dade County, we're someplace between 1.7 and 1.8 million population. When we extend that to South Florida, we become 6.7 million. When we talk about the kind of companies that we have, whether it's tech or healthcare or manufacturing or aerospace, when we talk about Miami-Dade, we represent maybe 40%. When we add in the other communities, suddenly we become a much more robust and, I think, competitive location for businesses. So by working together with Broward and Palm Beach, we position ourselves much better to compete for large-scale projects. Wouldn't it be nice as if there's a big project opportunity in any one of these sectors that I've talked about, aerospace, hospitality, tourism, trade and logistics, and it's an opportunity for a company that pays really good wages. And because we work together, that company decides they're going to locate in South Florida as opposed to Texas or the Carolinas or Atlanta or wherever else they may be thinking about. And if once they decide they're coming to South Florida, then the competition is between Broward, Palm Beach, and Miami. And when we get to that point, Miami's going to work very, very hard. We're going to work very hard to win it for Miami. But the good news is whether we win or lose, we win because the jobs will in fact be available to people from across the region because we are in one big commuter market, right? If you look at the commuter patterns on our highways, morning and evening, people are traveling between Broward, Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, and you just see it on the roads. Brightline decided to set up its operation to cover those three communities intentionally because they knew the commuter patterns dictated that you could be successful at it. So we want to try and work regionally to get ourselves to be the focal point of big project opportunities that are out there. And once we are the focal point, then we'll of course compete and try and win it for our community because that's what we get paid to do. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a win no matter what community it lands in because the job opportunities will be available to all of us.
Absolutely. I agree. And I definitely think that, you know, whether you're a small business, large corporation, or, you know, entity like yourself that's, you know, focused on economic development, we do have to continue to, and those who haven't been doing that, to think of us as a regional approach to growth. When one part of the region grows, we all grow. And that's it.
Right. Well, the other thing that I always mention is that sometimes we get a little bit excited about recruiting from our next door neighbor, right? And so it really doesn't serve the purpose to recruit from Broward or Palm Beach and vice versa, right? Because we're just kind of reshuffling the deck that already exists in South Florida. We need to compete for opportunities where businesses are looking to expand from California, expand from Georgia, expand from New York, expand from around the world, because those companies are in a clear growth mode and they're moving here because they see growth potential in the opportunities that are available in Miami-Dade. And that's where working together to get companies interested in Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, Monroe as a region is very important.
Absolutely. So my last question for you, if you had to look in your crystal ball of economics, what do you have any economic predictions that you think you can share with our audience, considering, where we are, the current climate? There's still a lot of uncertainties, but do you have any predictions in your crystal ball to share with us for the next 6 to 24 months?
Yeah, I don't know that I have any predictions that I can share, but what I will say is I suspect that we're going to get a fair amount of follow-up as a result of this call. I hope that some of your listeners have taken notes and decided that they're going to look at the website that I pointed to, and they're going to say, hey, I'm ready for my next opportunity. I want to upskill from whatever it is I've been doing in the past. So I'm going to go to miamitech.works, and I'm going to see what kind of opportunities are there for me. And I think, or I'm going to go ahead and reach out to Beacon Council via email to make sure that Beacon Council is responding to some of the needs that I have as a business. And so that's my prediction, is that this is going to be an effective communications opportunity for some of the businesses that are listening to and that listen to you on a weekly basis. And they'll take advantage of us as an organization. We are here to be a resource. And I don't think we have always been viewed that way. And what I'm trying to do is cause your listeners to understand that this resource is available, it is free, and we are resourceful, and we're willing to be a support organization to all of your businesses.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Finney, for joining us today and sharing this valuable information. I encourage everyone who is listening to please take advantage of the opportunities that have been presented here today. Make sure you visit the websites that have been discussed here today, and also send an email so that way you can have access to whether it's capital or help with solving any of your employment or human resources challenges, or just, connecting to other anchor companies and other companies within Miami-Dade County. So please take action. That's why we're having this information every week for you, so that way you can take action. And also, please, everyone that's listening, share this video with your followers, and also continue to tune in. I have a couple of announcements, so don't go away just yet, Mr. Finney. If you have not picked up your copy of the 40 Under 40 issue of Legacy Magazine, both Legacy Miami and Legacy South Florida, it was officially released yesterday. So you can try to find the Miami Herald or the Sun Sentinel to pick up a physical copy, or you can visit miamediagroup.com to get your digital copy. There's loads of information in there. Congratulations to all of those who are featured, all of our 40 Under 40 awardees that were featured. So congratulations to all of you. If you have not followed Legacy Magazine and MIA Media Group on YouTube or social media, or if you have not subscribed to the newsletter, you may be missing out on a chance to win a $50 gift certificate. So please make sure you go and subscribe to all of these networks as well as the newsletter for a chance to win a $50 gift card. My last announcement is that I'm super happy that Legacy Magazine and MIA Media Group has agreed to partner with my firm and other that are involved, the Urban League of Broward County and several others, the African American Research Library, for the 10th Annual National Black Economic Conference, which is taking place next Friday and Saturday, August 21st to 22nd. It's going to be virtual. It's not too late to register. We have 30 plus speakers lined up, including former NBA player Walter Bond, as well as the Honey Pot Company. If you guys remember this Target Phenomenon. She has all natural feminine products. Miss Beatrice Dixon, among several others who will be joining us. So you do not want to miss this. And hopefully, Mr. Finney, I'm going to talk to you offline about it. You'll be joining us as well. So you can learn more at nationalblackeconomicconference.com. That's nationalblackeconomicconference.com. And thank you, MIA Media Group, for partnering with us as a media partner. Our guest next week is Mr. Patrick Franklin, who is the president and CEO of the Urban League of Palm Beach County. Super excited to hear what's happening with the Urban League in Palm Beach County. So make sure, again, you share this video, and you also, go back to the beginning if you missed it and replay it. And make sure you check out Mr. Finney and everything that he has offered for us today with the Miami Dade Beacon Council. Thank you so much again, Mr. Finney, for joining us. And thank you all for tuning in. Please tune in again with us next Thursday at noon.